to show you what it looks like. Like I showed you in the screenshots in the presentation, I'm going to use this insert content option on the top toolbar and select image. So I have two options here. I have the upload image, which I need to use for anything that's actually saved to my computer. I have the from the web option. We're going to look at this later where I can copy and paste a link to an image and link it to my Schoology course. So since it's downloaded, I have it on my computer. I'm going to attach it here. I'm in my downloads folder. I can see that image that I just created in Canva. Select it and click on open, and it'll drop it right here in my description area. So I'm going to need to resize this a little bit because it's taking up a lot of space. It's going to be very large whenever I save this and looking at it on my materials menu right here. So I want to click and drag to resize it. So just select the image once. It'll turn a shade of blue, and then you can click on any corner. I wouldn't click right here because it's going to shrink your image and stretch it a little bit. So I would click on any corner that you can. Clear that up. Any corner that you can, and just start kind of doing little drags so that you can resize it. Depending on the size of your image, it might take 6, 7, 8 of them. Some smaller images won't take as many. But I just want to resize this so it's about as wide as the text that I already had in my description. And I'm just going to clear out any extra space that I have in there so everything is nice and tight together in that description area. And this is what I'm left with. Just the existing text that was there to open this folder and the graphic that I created for my visual aid to click here first. Don't need to do anything else. I've got everything in that description field that I need. I'm going to click on Save Changes. And notice that it's updated my description area for this folder. So the good thing about folders is you can see the images that you add to the description right here in your course materials. So whenever a student clicks on your course, this is their landing page. So they're going to see any images that you've added to folders. In this case, the click here first one, so that they know this is where you want them to start. Another neat thing is instead of having to click only on this folder text here, I can click on the image. It becomes a linked image. I didn't have to set anything up. As long as it's there in the description, it's going to create a linked image that I can just click on the new icon I've created, and it will open my folder so I can see all of my subfolders. So an easy way to add a little bit of personalization to your materials list by adding those images to folders. They could be wider images. So if you wanted something that kind of stretched and took up the entire width of that material section here in the middle, you might want to start with maybe the Facebook cover option or something that has a wider layout than what I did with just a square icon. So you can try a couple different options out and see what looks best when it's here in your Schoology course. So however you want it to look, you have those options with sizing there in Canva. So that's an easy way to design something from scratch. It's not a complicated image. I don't have very many elements on it, but it serves the purpose. It's clear. I know exactly what it's instructing me to do, and I can see it right here in my Schoology list. So we're going to come back to Canva and do something else, but I want to move on to Bitmoji before that. So if you're not familiar with Bitmoji, these are what Bitmojis look like. They are cartoon representations of you. So you're able to customize them as far as looks, accessories, clothing, and you can change those and update those as much as you want. A couple things to note about getting started with Bitmoji. This link right here takes you to the Chrome browser extension. There's not an actual website that you can go to Bitmoji and start designing and creating. You have to use the app or a mobile device. So on your phone or your tablet, you'll have to install the Bitmoji app, go ahead and set up your account, and then it's going to walk you through step by step for creating your own Bitmoji. So you only have to create it once. Everything that you're going to be able to do with your Bitmoji is going to be automated from that point out. So all you need to worry about is what your Bitmoji looks like, what your Bitmoji is wearing, and trying to get it to look as close to you as possible. So I use some of mine throughout my presentation, just since we're focusing on graphics and to add a little bit to it. But we're going to see how we can use these Bitmojis in our Schoology course. So since it's an app on our phone, we're doing all of that setup there. We're able to access all of those from our phone. If we want them to work in our web browser so that we can copy and paste and use them in places like our Schoology course, we need to install this Bitmoji Chrome extension. So a couple things about this. Make sure that you're using Google Chrome on your device. If you're using a Chromebook, that's the only browser on there, so you're fine with Google Chrome. If you're on a Mac, make sure that you're not in Safari. Make sure that you actually have Chrome installed and are using the Chrome browser. And if you're on a PC, make sure you're not in something like Microsoft Edge or old Internet Explorer or Firefox. Just be in Google Chrome and you'll be able to add this extension from the Chrome Web Store. The only other thing you'll have to do after you come here and click Add to Chrome, I've already got it installed, so I only have the remove option, is you'll go up here where the icon is. So the exact same icon I see over here is going to be at the top right corner of my Chrome browser. I'll need to click there and sign in with the same account that I set up on my phone. So whatever I use or whatever I currently use to log into Bitmoji, I'll need to do that through the Bitmoji extension so that I can link my account. So I've done all of that. It'll take a little bit of setup for you. It takes a while, not a while, but as much time as you want to spend to customize your Bitmoji avatar. That'll take you some time, but once you have that done, you'll be able to use this Bitmoji extension and access all of the different images. So I like to describe these as digital stickers. So when I click on that, I'm going to see all of these different options that I can use for my Bitmoji. So you don't have to create all of these. These are done for you just based on the way you set up your character. So I'm able to scroll through this list, find all of the options on here. You can scroll for quite a while looking through all of the different options you have. You have some categories down here. So if you're looking for a celebration, something that kind of says hi or hey, you can use those. Some emotions are down here, and you also have the search option. So lots of different ways to find your Bitmojis. If it's something that you wanted to say something different and you don't have the option for it, we're going to look at a way that we can copy something from here and use it in Canva and add some custom text to it so that we can then create our own custom version of a Bitmoji sticker. So lots of options here, really a great resource to set up if you don't have one already. So I'm going to use my Bitmoji in an example, and I had it in my presentation on that first slide that I was showing you with all of our topics about using it for assignments and discussions, where we can use them as responses to our student submissions. So whether they've responded in a discussion board or they've submitted an assignment, we can use our Bitmojis as feedback for our students in our Schoology course. Very easy to do. I've got all of my options right up here in Chrome. So really from here on out is going to be a lot of copy and paste or downloading it so I have that image saved on my computer. So let me go into a discussion board that I have. So I've got one set up for a lesson or a discussion activity for the Very Hungry Caterpillar. So I have prompted my students to respond to this discussion board by sharing their favorite part of the story. So I have one student response here at the bottom. This was my mock student that I posted right here as a student submission example. And then me as the teacher, I would want to come in here and give the student some feedback based on their response. So I'm going to click right here on reply. and it's going to give me my text entry field. So one thing to note, I have this insert content option here, but I don't have the image option. So if I have something saved, like the folder one that I did from Canva, I wouldn't be able to use the top menu to insert it in the description area. I would have to use the file attachment to attach it to my response post. Bitmoji's a little bit different because I'm able to copy and paste these directly from the Chrome extension. So I'm going to search just for great and see what comes up. So maybe I want to use one of these as my response for my student. So I'm going to take this one that says good stuff. And when I find what I want to use, all I need to do is right click and copy the image. So find the one that I want to use in my Bitmoji extension right here at the top, right click on it and select copy image. So now I'm on this page for my discussion response. I can click right here where I'm going to type my response, right click and paste, or do Control V on the keyboard. And notice that my Bitmoji sticker has been added to my response field. So just like before with Canva, it's a little bit large. I want this to be kind of an icon size. So I'm going to resize it a little bit. So it's still big enough for the student to see, but not taking up the whole page. And I can use this in my response to the student. Now, since I've only added an image and no text with this, this is a text field, so it wants me to add some type of text. I'm not able to click on post reply yet. I need to add some type of text character here. The easiest way, if you don't want to type a message to the student, you just want to use your sticker, is to hit the space bar, because it'll recognize that right there as a text character. And now you can click post reply with only your image. You're definitely able to type text on there. You can record your audio message like we've discussed before. So you can have an audio recording of you telling the student great job, but you can use any of those in combination. You're not limited to just one. I'm going to use my sticker here for demonstration, post my reply, and you can see that my response to the student post is just my Bitmoji sticker telling them good job. So an easy way to add a little personal touch to your student feedback in Schoology. The kids love seeing Bitmojis of you. They love seeing your face everywhere. I've seen some schools that have created the larger cardboard cutouts and they have them in the hallways and outside of their classrooms. They've printed them and put them on bulletin boards. My son's teacher, he's in kindergarten. He had one dropped off at the house by his teacher that was just a version of her Bitmoji that he could take around and take pictures with her doing different activities that she was giving them through Seesaw or Remind. So lots of options for Bitmojis, both inside of Schoology and outside of Schoology. So just a great resource to get set up if you don't have one already. So I use that as feedback to a discussion. Let me show you real quick how to do that for an assignment. It's a little bit different because I can't copy and paste into my text field like I did there. I'm going to go into my assignment example. So here was my assignment about the life cycle of a butterfly. The student was prompted to, or my class was prompted to draw their own picture of a butterfly and then submit it so I can see their artwork. So I have a student response here over on the right side that I can click on. I can see the response here in the middle. So this would be my student response that I can view as their submission. And now I can give them some feedback over here like I did in the discussion board. Just looks different because it's an assignment. But what I don't have is the ability to paste my Bitmoji in there. It's only going to let me put text here, but I can do the file attachment and the audio recording. So since I can't copy and paste my Bitmoji, I'm going to save this to my computer. So the same way that I right click to copy, I'm going to right click and save image as. Still right there from that Bitmoji extension. I haven't even had to change my web page. So it's going to give me a long file name here. I'm just going to change it because it said good stuff. I'm going to change it to good stuff. still saving right here in my downloads, and I'm going to click on save. So just like I did from Canva, I have my image saved right here to my computer. So I don't even need to go to my Bitmoji extension every time I want to use that image. I can just attach it from my computer. I've got it saved in a folder, and I can use that same one as much as I need to. So to respond here, I'm going to need to put some text in the response. It's not just going to take a file attachment or a voice recording here. So type a short message to the student. Great job. Click on the file option, and now I can select my image. So I'll see everything, my folder options, anything else I have downloaded. I can select that from my downloads folder. Click on open. It shows it right there below as an attachment, shows it's attached. And now I just click on post. So you can see my response whenever the student signs into their Schoology account. They're going to see that I have commented on their assignment submission. They can go and see my comment, and then they can click. It's kind of small right here, but when they click on it, it's going to expand and they can see that Bitmoji there. So another way that you can use that in Schoology as feedback, but this time as feedback to an assignment. So you can do that same thing with attaching it to your discussion post. I just showed you the copy and paste because you're able to do that whenever you're replying to a discussion. So I'm going to go back to my materials page. So since we've started talking about Bitmoji, maybe I want to use one of my Bitmoji characters instead of this graphic that I created for my folder. So I'm going to create it as an icon right here so that it's an image in my description area. But I'm going to go back and change this a little bit so that it's a little different. It has me on it. I'm using my Bitmoji instead of just text and a folder icon here. So I've still got my design open in Canva. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to edit this. I'm going to clear out what I don't want anymore. I'm going to clear out my folder. I'm going to clear out where it says click, or where it says first, and I'm going to move my click here text down to the bottom. So in this space above, I want to use my Bitmoji. So I don't have that Bitmoji option here in Canva, but I can copy and paste. And copy and paste does work for images to bring them into your Canva design. So from this screen in Canva, I can go to Bitmoji. I'm going to find the one I want to use. So in this case, I just searched for point. So I can find one of my Bitmojis that's pointing. I'm going to use this one right here. So just like before, I can copy and then paste it here. If you want to save it and do it that way to upload it, you can do that as well. You do have the upload option here on the left to upload it. But for Bitmoji, all you need to do is copy and paste. It won't let you right click to paste an image in Canva. The option is there, but for something outside, it's not going to let you. So it's telling you to use Control and B to paste. So I can do that. I'll paste my image in there, and notice my Bitmoji is now in my image that I can resize. So I'm going to move him around. I have it centered right now. So I have my Bitmoji on there. I have my text, and I can do that same process as before and download that image and add it to my course. So just an example while I'm here, let's say that there's one that has some text. So let's say we've got this, I want to use this image, but it's got that text above. Let me move this guy out just for a minute so I can show you. I'm going to change my background to white. Go back to my background. I'm going to change it to white just so that I can show you how to cover up the text. And I'm going to paste that one with the text in here. I'm not going to use it, but just to show you how you can use something like this. Depending on your background color, it might take a little bit more work. But all I'm going to do is add that. I'm going to go over here in my element search, and I'm going to search for a rectangle. So here's a rectangle image. I'm going to click on it. actually a square, but that's okay. I can resize it. And I'm going to resize it so that I can cover up my text, but not my actual Bitmoji. So I left it gray just so I can make sure that everything is covered up. I'm going to select that and change my color to white. And now you notice my text is gone. So what I like to do whenever I cover these up, I drag from the side and select both of those elements. So the white box and my Bitmoji, not all three of them. And then you can right click and group those. So that now when I move him, it's gonna move just the box and that Bitmoji. So I can then resize it so it's bigger and have it there if I want to cover up some text. So that option is there. You can customize anything that's in Bitmoji that just has text. You can also just type in the text that you want to use. Even though there's not going to be a default click here icon, you can use some of these. It'll create it for you whenever you search for a term in Bitmoji. The easy way, if you don't see one that you like here, I can just copy that and then clear out the search and search a couple more times. It's going to give you different results each time. It kind of cycles through your available options. So that option is there as well, if you can find one that way. I tend to just come here and create my own, since it's easier to do that without having to worry about filtering out my search and doing it over and over to find something that I like. Let me go back and add my background like it was. And there's my Bitmoji. So I've got everything ready to go. I've got my Bitmoji. On my image, I'm going to change out the one that I created for my folder and use this one instead. Let me download this one, just like before. And hopefully you can see that going back and changing something you've already created is not that difficult at all. I'm going to go ahead and overwrite that name and just put the number 2, so I know it's the same thing. All of your designs save in Canva. So on this home tab that I have, right here, you have all your designs. So notice they're all saving as I access this. But that one is still open, so it may or may not, it's not going to update in my library yet because it's still open in another tab. But you can see all of the ones that I've created. They're all there saved for me, so I can go back in and edit those and re-download them as much as I need to. So I want to swap that one out. I'll go back into my edit section. So I have my folder selected here. I can either hit the delete key or I can click on the X to clear it out. And now I've just got my text there. I'm going to actually put this image on top of my existing text so that whenever I'm pointing, they can see that I'm pointing to the folder name to click on. So just like before, insert content, select image. I'll attach this file once again. There's my new one that I want to use. And just resize so that it's a good size for you. I've got that smaller on there. I'm going to clear out any extra space that it adds. It typically adds either space above or below just to make sure that all of my elements are right there close to each other, and click on Save Changes. So now you can see I've updated my icon. It's showing me to click here, so I can click there. I can click on the title, and it's giving me a little visual indicator with my Bitmoji of where I want students to go in my course. So same thing as before. I just added that other element of Bitmoji to my Canva design to personalize it just a little bit more. So easy to do that, easy to change any of the options that you have here in Bitmoji just by adding them to Canva, covering up what you don't want, and adding to the image like I just did. So let me move on to the last one we're going to look at. We're going to look at Giphy. So I don't need to do much with Giphy. It's going to be an animated image search. So whenever I click on this website, it'll take me to Giphy. I don't need to set up an account. You can if you want to, so that you can save the images that you find here and just be able to use them over and over again. I find it easy enough to just come here, search for it, and find it. I'm not worried about uploading or creating anything. I'm just coming here as a resource. If it's posted here, it's okay for me to use. They're all posted here so that you can use them either on social media, or in our case, we're going to use them in our Schoology course. I'm going to find an image that I can use for my science folder. So I searched for science. Of course, you can see there's all kinds of images on here. So you've got a lot of different options. You can scroll through pretty indefinitely and keep finding anything that is tagged with science in the image description. I'm just going to use this one here at the top. So this is really easy to do. If I want to bring this into my Schoology course, I can just click on this link icon without even clicking on the image. Just the link icon that's in the top right-hand corner. It's going to copy the link to this image for me to paste, and now I'll just go back to my Schoology course. So my science folder is right in here as a subfolder. So I'll just expand that so I can see my science folder. Just like before, I'm going to go edit that folder description. So I don't have anything else in the description, just the title of the folder. So just like before, insert content, I'm still going to select image. Even though I copied a link to an image, I don't want it to be clickable text as a link. I'm going to use the link for that image to bring it into my Schoology folder description. So I'll click on image. This is not one I have downloaded, so I can't attach it here. I need to select from the web. And there you can see the link field to paste the link for the link that we copied from Giphy. I'm going to do Control V to paste that in there. And I'm going to choose Insert Media. And there you can see, just like my still images, it's going to add this GIF to my folder. So I like to resize these to where they're about the size of the description window without having to click and drag to see the whole image, just to make it fit right there. So it's not too big on the screen like my other graphics. And then I can click on Save Changes. So notice I'm not going to see it when I expand my subfolders here like I see my other one. I have to actually go into that top level folder to see my other folders listed on the screen before I'll see that image or that GIF for that folder that I added. So you can see I already had one there for math. I just added one for science. And so one thing I'll say about Giphy is try to use these sparingly across your course. I wouldn't want to fill up this entire page with animated GIFs because it's going to be a little overwhelming whenever students come here and they're going to be distracted by watching these over and over again instead of actually going into the folder and finding the resources. So just to show you it's an option to put in folders, you can also use these as feedback for your students like I did with the Bitmoji. So just real quick, I'll jump in here. Let me go back to that discussion board. It's just going to be a little bit different. It's going to be like what we did to save our Bitmoji to attach for my assignment response. I'm just going to go here to my discussion board. I'm going to post another response. So if I want to use one of those GIFs for my response, let me type "great job." See what comes up. So let me use this one right here of the thumbs up. If I want this image to go as a response to my student, I need to click on the image to go and see the full-size image here. And then just like with my Bitmoji to download it, I'm going to right-click and save image as. So just like before, I've already got it saved here. So I'm not going to save it again, but you could just type thumbs up. It's saved as a GIF image. So that's correct. I don't need to change anything there. And click on save. I'll say yes to replace it just so it'll do a new version of that. And I now have this animated GIF downloaded to my computer. So I can go back here to my response. I can't copy and paste it in here. It's not going to work that way. So I need to type some text in here just so that it'll let me post a reply. But what I'm going to do with that GIF is I'm going to add it as a file attachment, like I did with my Bitmoji and my assignment. So click right there. Take a minute to come up, but there's my thumbs up. It's not going to be animated here. It's just going to show me a still image of it, but I can click on open. It's going to attach it right there. And then when I post my reply, you can see that it's animated right there as my attachment. So just another option to use these either in folders or as attachments for student feedback. So I can click on it and expand it, see it a little bit bigger if it's kind of small there, but the student can see your response to their discussion board. So that's Giphy. Not much to it, just searching for the image you want to use and either copy and pasting it into your folder description or anywhere else that you want to use it in your course, whether it's an attachment or by putting it in a description area for an assignment or a discussion board. Let me clear some of this out here and get back to my presentation. If you don't know where to start, if you don't want to use any of these resources to start creating from scratch, this document right here in the link is going to give you a copy of these anchor graphics. So these were designed for building courses in Alding. They're relevant to what you can do in Schoology. So you'll see discussion, quick writes, videos, assignments, and so forth. If you don't know where to start and you just want a simple icon that you can use, you can click on any of these, copy them, and then paste them just like we did before into your description area in Schoology. So just basic images. The color scheme is kind of that of the new Alding logo. So those are all kind of cohesive together, and you can use those if you just need a starting point and don't want to get started on creating anything quite yet. So that option is there for you if you need it. Let me talk just for a second about screenshots. I use screenshots a lot in my presentations, but they're also easy to just capture part of a screen. So if you want part of your image that you created and not the text or something like that, screenshotting is an easy way to do it. There's two built-in applications, snipping tool for Windows or using QuickTime or Command-Shift-4 as a keyboard shortcut on Mac. So either of those operating systems has a built-in screenshot tool. Let me click right here and type snipping since I'm on a Windows device. It's going to bring up snipping tool. It's a very simple interface. All I need to do is click on new to take a screenshot, and then it's just drag and drop. So if I just want this area of a slide as an image,